Hey guys, tonight we slip into the flickering warmth of a Zoroastrian temple, where a sacred flame dances in the dark, untouched by time. Picture yourself standing on cool stone, the air thick with sandalwood and whispers of ancient prayers. That fire, glowing like a trapped star, isn't just pretty, it's the heart of a faith older than most empires. One wrong step, though, and you might trip over a priest's sandal. Trust me, you probably won't survive the awkwardness. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Drop your location and local time in the comments. I'm curious where you're drifting off tonight. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You're in ancient Persia, maybe 1,000 years before smartphones, staring at the birth of this eternal flame. The temple's walls are rough-hewn, carved with winged figures that seem to move in the firelight. This isn't just any fire, it's a sacred one, kindled with rituals so precise they make brain surgery look casual. Zoroastrians believe fire is a bridge to Ahura Mazda, their wise and benevolent god. The flame's not just a symbol, it's a living presence, a spark of divinity that's gotta burn forever. Extinguish it? Yeah, that's like unplugging the universe's Wi-Fi. Historians say the oldest known fire temple, at Yazd, has burned for over 1,500 years. That's a mainstream fact, no debate. But here's a quirky tidbit. The fire's first spark might have come from lightning. Yep, priests back then saw a bolt from the sky as Ahura Mazda's personal lighter. They'd scramble to catch that divine ember, probably muttering about bad weather and sacred duties. Imagine the stress. Your job is to grab lightning without frying yourself. Historians still argue whether these early fires were always lightning-born, or if priests cheated with flint when the skies stayed calm. No one's got receipts, so the debate rages on. You're watching the kindling ceremony now. Priests in white robes, faces half hidden by veils, move like they're in a slow-motion movie. They chant in Avestan, a language so old it sounds like the wind arguing with itself. The fire's born from 9 types of wood: fig, almond, tamarisk, you name it, each chosen for reasons lost to time. The smell's intense, like a forest decided to throw a perfume party. You notice the altar, a square stone slab, polished to a sheen. The fire sits in a bronze urn, its flames curling like they're trying to tell you a secret. You're tempted to lean closer, but the heat's a warning. This isn't your cozy campfire. The temple's quiet, but not silent. There's a low hum, maybe the priests, maybe the fire itself. You feel small, like you're standing at the edge of something vast. This flame's not just light, it's truth, purity, a hotline to the divine. Zoroastrians don't worship the fire, mind you. They venerate what it represents. Think of it like a cosmic Zoom call with God. No buffering allowed. You smirk, wondering if modern Zoroastrians ever forget to mute their prayers. Joke aside, the flame's role is clear. It's the temple's pulse, and you're here to feel it beat. As you linger, the priests toss sandalwood into the urn. The fire flares, casting shadows that dance like ghosts on the walls. You're starting to get why this matters. This isn't just a fire. It's a promise, one that's been kept for centuries. You're not just a visitor. You're part of something ancient, something that doesn't care about your Wi-Fi signal or your to-do list. The flame's eternal, and for now, you're caught in its glow. You're still in the temple, the sacred flame flickering before you, its glow painting your face with warmth. The air's heavy with the scent of burning sandalwood, and the stone floor feels cooler under your feet now, grounding you in this ancient space. You're not alone. Priests glide around the fire, their white robes catching the light like sails in a storm. They're the keepers of this flame, and you're about to see what that job entails. It's not exactly a 9 to 5, unless your office requires chanting at midnight and dodging divine wrath. These priests, called mobeds, are the flame's babysitters, bodyguards, and chefs all rolled into one. Their main gig? Keeping the fire pure. That means no trash, no damp wood, nothing that'd make the flame cough up smoke like a bad barbecue. The fire's fed only the finest stuff. Dry sandalwood, frankincense, maybe a pinch of cedar if they're feeling fancy. A mainstream historical fact. Zoroastrian texts, like the Vendidad, spell out rules for fire purity, stricter than a health inspector's checklist. One wrong move, and the fire's sanctity is toast. Here's a quirky tidbit. Priests sometimes used mirrors to borrow sunlight for rituals, reflecting it onto the fire like a cosmic high five. Imagine the setup: bronze mirrors, polished to a gleam, angled just right to catch the sun. It's half priestly, half Mad Max. Historians still argue whether this was common or just a flex by overzealous mobeds trying to impress the congregation. No one's dug up a mirror manual yet, so the debate's stuck in neutral. You watch a mobed approach the urn, his steps deliberate, like he's walking on eggshells. He's carrying a small bundle of sandalwood tied with a thin cord. His veil, white, gauzy, flutters as he mutters prayers in a vestan. You catch a few words, but it's like trying to eavesdrop on a dream. He places the wood gently, almost tenderly, into the fire. The flames leap, greedy for the offering, and a fresh wave of sweet, woody scent hits you. You're tempted to sneeze, but you hold it in. Sneezing in a temple feels like a war crime. The mobeds work in shifts, day and night, because this fire doesn't take vacations. They're trained from childhood, learning chants, rituals, and the art of not setting their robes on fire. You smirk, imagining a young priest tripping over his own hem during practice. Joke's on you, though. These guys are pros. They've got to be. The flame's eternity is on their shoulders. If it goes out, it's not just a whoopsie. It's a spiritual 404 error. The community would lose its anchor, its link to Ahura Mazda. You notice the tools they use: long tongs, a small ladle for incense, a fan to coax the flames without blowing them out. It's like watching a chef at a Michelin star restaurant, except the dish is divine light. The priests don't chat or goof off. Their focus is laser sharp. You feel a pang of respect, maybe a little envy. When was the last time you cared about anything that much? Your phone's notifications don't count. The fire crackles, spitting a spark that lands near your foot. You flinch, half expecting a mobed to scold you for existing. But they don't notice. They're too busy. One priest sweeps ash from the urn's base, his movements quick but reverent. The ash isn't trash. It's sacred too, stored in special containers, like it's gold dust. You wonder if they ever lose track of it, like misplacing the holy equivalent of car keys. Another joke bubbles up, but you let it pass. The temple's vibe doesn't need your stand-up routine. As you stand there, the flame's rhythm starts to sink into you. It's not just burning, it's alive, demanding care, respect, and a whole lot of wood. The mobeds are its guardians, and you're just a guest, lucky to witness their dance with the divine. You're still here, the temple's glow wrapping you like a blanket, the sacred flame crackling with secrets. The mobeds are busy tending their divine bonfire, but you're about to dig deeper into why this fire matters so much. It's not just a fancy light show. It's tied to the very fabric of Zoroastrian belief, a cosmic thread linking you to the universe's big boss, Ahura Mazda. The air hums with meaning, and you're starting to feel like you've stumbled into a philosophy class with really good incense. In Zoroastrian cosmology, fire isn't just hot, it's truth incarnate. It's the earthly echo of Asha, the divine order that keeps the world from spiraling into chaos. Think of Asha as the universe's rule book and fire as its glowing cliffs notes. When you stare into the flames, you're seeing purity, justice, and the divine will, all bundled into one hypnotic flicker. A mainstream historical fact. The Avesta, Zoroastrianism's holy text, calls fire a son of Ahura Mazda, tying it directly to the divine family tree. That's no metaphor. It's a core belief etched into centuries of worship. Now, for a quirky tidbit, some ancient Zoroastrians believed the fire could judge you, not like a reality show, but spiritually. Its flames supposedly flared brighter for the righteous and dimmed for the shady. Imagine confessing your sins to a campfire that's low-key snitching to God. Historians still argue whether this was a widespread belief or just poetic hype from over-eager poets. No one's found a fire-based lie detector manual, so the jury's out. You shift your weight, the stone floor unyielding beneath you. The flame's heat prickles your skin, but it's the ideas behind it that really burn. Fire's role in cosmology isn't just symbolic, it's practical. Zoroastrians see the world as a battleground between good, Ahura Mazda, and evil, Angra Mainyu. Fire's your ally in this fight, a beacon of light against the darkness. It's why the temple feels like a fortress, not just a pretty shrine. You half expect a mobed to hand you a sword and whisper, "Choose your side." Okay, maybe not, but the vibe's intense. The flame's also a teacher. It shows you how to live. Stay pure. Burn bright. Don't let the world's muck dim your spark. You smirk, wondering if your messy desk back home would pass the Asha test. Joke aside, this idea shapes everything here. The priest's chants, the careful wood placement. It's all about aligning with that cosmic truth. You notice a mobed pause, his eyes fixed on the fire like he's reading a book. Maybe he's seeing something you can't, or maybe he's just zoned out. Either way, the flame holds his gaze, and yours too. But it's not all high-minded philosophy. Fire's practical too. It purifies, not like your air fryer, but spiritually. It cleanses prayers, offerings, even the air you breathe in the temple. That's why the mobeds are so obsessive about keeping it clean. A dirty fire is like a glitchy GPS. It misleads you. You glance at the urn, its bronze gleaming in the light. The flames twist, almost playful, but there's weight behind them. This fire's carrying the hopes of everyone in the room. Maybe everyone who's ever prayed here. You feel a tug, like the fire's pulling you into its story. It's not just a Zoroastrian thing, it's universal. Every culture's got its light in the darkness metaphor, but here it's literal. You think about the priests from section 2, their endless shifts, their mirrors catching sunlight. That dedication's not just for show. It's because this fire holds the cosmos together. You chuckle softly, imagining explaining this to your friends over pizza. Yeah, I hung out with a divine flame. No big deal. They'd probably think you'd lost it. As you stand there, the temple's quiet hum sinks into you. The fire's not just a thing. It's a force, a truth, a guide. You're starting to get why people have kept it burning for millennia. It's not about the wood or the urn. It's about what the flames say without speaking. The temple's glow holds you tight. The sacred flames dance, filling your eyes with sparks and shadows. You're no longer just watching the mobeds fuss over their divine fire pit. You're stepping into the heart of worship, where the flame isn't just a backdrop, it's the star. The air buzzes with quiet reverence, and you're about to join a crowd of worshippers, their faces lit by the same fire you've been staring at. It's not a spectator sport. You're in it now, feeling the weight of centuries in every flicker. Zoroastrian rituals revolve around this fire, like planets around a sun. You're standing with the faithful, their soft murmurs blending with the fire's crackle. The main event is the yasna, a ceremony where prayers and offerings meet the flames. Worshippers don't bow to the fire. They face it like it's a partner in their prayers. A mainstream historical fact, the yasna, detailed in the Avesta, has been performed for over 2,500 years, with fire as its focal point, carrying human words to Ahura Mazda like a cosmic courier. Here's a quirky tidbit. Some rituals involve tossing tiny bits of frankincense into the fire, and legend says the scent tickles the divine. Imagine Ahura Mazda sneezing somewhere in the heavens because a priest got heavy-handed with the incense. Historians still argue whether these offerings were always symbolic or if early Zoroastrians believed the fire literally ate them. No ancient grocery lists for divine snacks have turned up, so the debate smolders on. You shuffle closer, the crowd's warmth mixing with the fire's heat. A mobed leads the rite, his voice low and rhythmic, chanting in Avestan. You don't understand the words, but they hit like a lullaby, soothing and strange. He pours a ladle of clarified butter, ghee, into the fire. The flames flare, greedy, and the smell's rich, like a bakery got lost in a forest. You're tempted to ask for a slice of whatever's cooking, but you bite your tongue. Joke 1. This isn't your grandma's kitchen, and gee's not for dipping. The worshippers around you are focused, their eyes locked on the fire. Some hold small bundles of twigs, sacred balsam tied with care. These aren't just sticks, they're a bridge between earth and heaven, offered to the fire as a sign of devotion. You notice a kid in the crowd, maybe 10, clutching his balsam like it's a lightsaber. You smirk, imagining him pretending to duel an invisible Angra Mainyu. Joke 2. Kid's got spirit, but evil's probably not sweating it. The fire's not just a prop, it's active. It purifies the offerings, the prayers, even the people. You feel it too, like the heat's scrubbing away your daily stress, your overdue emails, your questionable life choices. The mobed sprinkles more incense, and the flames twist higher, casting shadows that dance like they've got a secret. You wonder what the fire's saying, if it's judging you like those old stories from Section 3. Probably thinks you need to chill on the coffee. The ritual's pace is slow, deliberate, like the world's most intense yoga class. No one's rushing. Time feels irrelevant here. You notice the worshippers' clothes, white, simple, clean, like they're ready for a divine job interview. Purity's the vibe, and the fire's the enforcer. You glance at your own imaginary outfit, hoping your metaphorical sneakers pass muster. Joke 3. Good thing you didn't wear that ketchup-stained shirt from last week's burger night. As the yasna continues, you feel a pull, like the fire's drawing you into its rhythm. It's not about the chants or the ghee. It's about connection. The flame links everyone here, from the kid with the barsam to the old man muttering prayers in the back. You think back to the mobed's mirrors from Section 2, catching sunlight for the divine. This fire's doing the same, catching human hopes and sending them upward. You're part of it, even if just for tonight. The ceremony winds down, but the fire doesn't. It burns on, eternal, ready for the next prayer, the next soul. You step back, the crowd thinning, but the flame's glow stays with you, like it's whispering, "Don't forget me." You're still caught in the temple's warm glow, the sacred flame's steady pulse, pulling you deeper into its world. The yasna's chants from the last section linger in your ears, but now the crowd's gone, and it's just you, the mobeds, and that eternal fire. You're about to learn what keeps this divine spark alive, not just spiritually, but practically. How do you fuel a flame that's been burning for centuries without hitting the cosmic equivalent of out of gas? The air smells of sandalwood and effort, and you're ready to peek behind the curtain. Keeping the fire burning is a logistical marathon. The mobeds need a constant supply of dry, pure wood. Sandalwood's the star, but almond and tamarisk get cameo roles. This isn't your backyard fire pit. Every stick's chosen like it's auditioning for the divine. A mainstream historical fact. Ancient Zoroastrian temples, like those in Yazd, had dedicated wood storerooms, some holding enough for decades, guarded like gold. Running out wasn't an option. Extinguishing the fire was a sin worse than stealing a priest's lunch. Here's a quirky tidbit. Some temples supposedly used camel caravans to haul wood from distant forests, with drivers sworn to silence to keep the route secret. Picture a camel staring you down, lips sealed, like it's in on a holy conspiracy. Historians still argue whether these caravans were real or just romantic tales spun by traders looking for clout. No camel GPS logs exist, so the mystery persists. You follow a mobed to a side chamber, its walls stacked with neat bundles of wood. The air's drier here, like a desert took a nap inside. He checks each bundle, sniffing for dampness, inspecting for bugs. One wrong twig could taint the fire, and these guys don't mess around. You imagine him scolding a termite like it's a naughty toddler. Joke 1. Sorry, buddy. No snacking on the divine kindling. The wood's only half the story. The fire's urn, a heavy bronze beast, needs constant cleaning to keep ash from choking the flames. You watch another mobed scrape out ash with a long spoon, his movements precise, like he's diffusing a bomb. The ash isn't tossed. It's stored in clay jars, treated like sacred leftovers. You wonder if they ever misplace a jar, like losing the holy equivalent of Tupperware. Joke 2. Bet they've got a priest whose only job is tracking ash inventory. Then there's the fuel schedule. The fire's fed 5 times a day, timed with prayers, like clockwork. Each feeding's a mini ritual, wood placed just so, incense sprinkled, chants muttered. You're impressed, then exhausted just thinking about it. Your coffee maker's schedule is less demanding. The mobeds don't complain, though. Their focus is ironclad. You notice one adjusts the wood with tongs, coaxing the flames higher. The fire responds, flaring like it's showing off. Sourcing the wood's no joke either. Ancient temples relied on local forests, but as empires grew, so did the supply chain. You picture traders haggling over sandalwood like it's black market treasure, mobeds double-checking every delivery for quality. Today, temples like those in India use sustainable sources, but back then, it was a hustle. You smirk, imagining a mobed rejecting a shipment because the wood lacked divine vibes. Joke 3. Probably sent the trader packing with a lecture on Asha. The fire's hunger never stops, and neither does the mobed's work. You think back to Section 2, their endless shifts, their mirrors catching sunlight. This is the same devotion, just less poetic, more sweaty. The flame's eternity depends on these practical chores: wood, ash, timing. It's not glamorous, but it's sacred. You feel a pang of respect for the mobeds, their hands calloused from keeping the divine alight. As you leave the chamber, the fire's glow follows you. Its crackle a reminder of what it takes to keep truth burning. You're starting to see the flame not just as light, but as a living thing, fed by human hands and stubborn faith. You're back in the temple's heart. The sacred flames glow, wrapping you like a warm scarf. The scent of sandalwood lingers, mixing with the memory of wood stacks and ash jars from the last section. Now, you're diving into what this fire means, not just as a ritual centerpiece, but as a stand-in for God Himself. The mobeds move quietly, their white robes flickering in the light. But the flame's the real speaker here, whispering divinity in every curl of smoke. You're about to see why this fire feels like more than just heat. In Zoroastrianism, fire isn't worshipped. It's a window to Ahura Mazda, the wise lord who created everything. The flames, his earthly ambassador, a glowing piece of his essence you can actually see. It's like Skyping with the divine. No buffering required. A mainstream historical fact. The Avesta describes fire as a visible manifestation of Ahura Mazda's light, making it a sacred link between humans and the cosmic good guy. That's why the fire's treated like royalty, not a campfire for s'mores. Here's a quirky tidbit. Some ancient texts hint that the fire could speak to priests through its movements. Bigger flames meant divine approval, weaker ones a cosmic side-eye. Imagine a mobed squinting at the fire like it's texting him bad news. Historians still argue whether this was literal or just priests reading too much into a gust of wind. No divine chat logs exist, so the debate's a slow burn. You stand closer, the fire's heat kissing your face. It's not just light, it's presence. Zoroastrians believe Ahura Mazda's too vast to be contained, but this flame, it's his calling card, a reminder he's watching. You feel small, like you're staring into the sun's baby cousin. The urn's bronze gleams, reflecting flames that seem to know you're there. You wonder if it's judging your life choices, like forgetting to call your mom last week. Joke 1. Hope the fire doesn't snitch to the divine HR department. The fire's role as a divine symbol shapes everything here. It's why the mobeds from Section 2 guard it like hawks, why the worshippers in Section 4 face it with such focus. It's not just a tool, it's a partner, carrying prayers upward like a celestial postman. You notice a moped add sandalwood, the flames flaring as if saying, "Got it, I'll pass it on." The act's so routine, yet heavy with meaning. You smirk, imagining the fire with a to-do list. Deliver prayers, look holy, don't go out. But it's more than symbolism. The fire's a moral compass. It represents Asha, truth, order, the stuff from Section 3 that keeps the universe humming. Staring into it, you're supposed to reflect on your own life. Are you living right? Helping the good fight? Or are you slacking, letting Angra Mainyu's chaos creep in? You shift uncomfortably, thinking of that time you cut someone off in traffic. Joke 2. Maybe the fire's flicker, is it saying, "Really, dude?" The temple's quiet, but the fire's loud in its own way. Its light spills across the stone walls, carving shadows that feel alive. You think of the wood caravans from Section 5, the endless work to keep this symbol burning. It's not just logistics, it's devotion to something bigger. The fire's divine status makes every stick, every chant a love letter to Ahura Mazda. You chuckle softly, wondering if the priests ever wish they could just order divine kindling online. Joke 3. Bet Amazon doesn't deliver to temples. As you linger, the fire's meaning sinks deeper. It's not just God's face. It's a challenge to be better, to burn bright like it does. You feel a tug, like the flames asking you to step up. It's been here forever, a piece of the divine that doesn't fade. You're just passing through, but for now, its light is yours to carry. The temple's glow clings to you. The sacred flame's warmth, a quiet anchor as you stand before it. The divine weight of the fire from the last section still hums in your mind. Ahura Mazda's light, burning right there in its bronze urn. But now the air shifts, heavy with a different kind of tension. You're about to see this flame face threats, not from wind or damp wood, but from invaders who didn't care about its holiness. The moped's soft chants feel distant as you step into a darker chapter where the fire's eternity was tested. Zoroastrian temples faced waves of conquest. Persia's history is a revolving door of empires, and not all were fans of the sacred flame. When Alexander the Great tore through in 330 BCE, his troops didn't exactly RSVP for the Yasna, a mainstream historical fact. Greek and later Islamic invasions damaged or destroyed many fire temples, with some flames snuffed out despite desperate moped efforts. The fire's survival wasn't guaranteed. It was a fight. Here's a quirky tidbit. Some legends claim priests hid sacred flames in caves, tending them like fugitive campfires to dodge invaders. Picture a moped sneaking through the hills, whispering prayers and hoping no one smells the sandalwood. Historians still argue whether these stories are true or just Zoroastrian fan fiction to inspire the faithful. No cave urns have been unearthed, so the tale flickers in doubt. You imagine the chaos, soldiers storming a temple, their boots echoing on the stone you're standing on now. The mopeds, usually so calm, scramble to protect the fire. Maybe they shield the urn with their bodies, or smuggle embers out in clay pots. The flame's not just a symbol from Section 6, it's a target. Invaders saw it as a rival god's banner, or worse, just something to kick over. You wince, picturing a soldier tossing water on the fire like it's a prank. Joke 1. Bet he didn't expect a moped's death glare. The threat wasn't just physical. New rulers, Greeks, Arabs, others, pushed their own faiths, sidelining Zoroastrianism. Temples were looted, converted, or left to crumble. You feel the loss, like the fire's gasping for air. Yet, some flames endured, thanks to stubborn priests and communities who'd rather die than let the light fade. You think of the wood caravans from Section 5. Those secret routes might have doubled as escape paths for embers. You smirk, imagining a camel with a hidden urn, the world's grumpiest holy courier. Joke 2. Hope it didn't spit on the sacred kindling. Not every temple survived. You picture ruined ones, their urns cold, their walls scarred by time and swords. The fire's eternity, so certain in the yasna of Section 4, feels fragile now. Yet, the Mobed's defiance burns brighter than the invasions. They rebuilt, relit, relocated. Some flames were merged, embers from one temple kindling another, like a divine relay race. You're awed, but also a bit stressed. Keeping your phone charged feels hard enough. Try guarding a god's light through a war. The temple you're in now feels like a survivor, its flame a middle finger to history's bullies. You notice a Mobed tend the fire, his movements steady, like he's done this through centuries of chaos. Maybe his ancestors face those same invaders, whispering the same Avestan prayers. You chuckle, wondering if modern Mobeds ever joke about that time Alexander crashed the party. Joke 3. Probably not, but they'd have stories to tell. As you stand there, the fire's glow feels hard-won. It's not just divine, it's defiant, a spark that outlasted empires. You think back to the Asha from Section 3, the truth that holds the universe together. This flame's been that truth's keeper, even when the world tried to snuff it out. You're starting to see it as more than a ritual. It's a victory, burning on against the odds. You're still in the temple. The sacred flames glow, a steady pulse against the stone walls. Its survival through invasions, from the last section burning in your mind. The air's warm, laced with sandalwood, and the Mobed's quiet movements feel like a promise kept. Now, you're shifting focus, not to the fire's divine role or its enemies, but to how it shapes the people around it. This flame isn't just a temple fixture. It's the glue holding Zoroastrian communities together. You're about to see how it sparks connection, identity, and a whole lot of shared purpose. The fire's more than a ritual centerpiece. It's a social hub. Zoroastrian communities revolve around their temples, where the flame draws people for prayers, festivals, and even gossip. It's like the ancient equivalent of a coffee shop, but with higher stakes and better incense. A mainstream historical fact: fire temples, like those in ancient Persepolis, served as gathering spots for major events, from coronations to seasonal feasts, binding communities through shared devotion to the flame. Here's a quirky tidbit. Some Zoroastrian weddings include a ritual where couples circle a fire, tossing in sandalwood to seal their vows. Imagine saying, "I do," while hoping you don't trip into the holy urn. Historians still argue whether this was always a marriage custom, or a later addition to spice up ceremonies. No ancient wedding planner's notes have surfaced, so the debate's still flickering. You picture the scene: families packed into the temple, kids tugging at robes, elders muttering prayers. The fire's light bathes everyone, leveling the crowd, rich, poor, young, old, all facing the same flame. It's not just about worship, it's about belonging. You feel the buzz of community, like a family reunion, minus the awkward small talk. The flame's the anchor, pulling people back for births, deaths, and everything in between. You smirk, imagining a kid sneaking an extra piece of sacred bread during a ritual. Joke 1. Bet the fire saw that and didn't snitch. The fire also sets the rhythm of daily life. Its feeding schedule from Section 5, 5 times a day, marks time for the faithful. People pray when the mobeds feed the flame, syncing their lives to its glow. It's like a divine alarm clock, minus the snooze button. You notice a woman outside the temple, pausing her work to face the fire's direction. Her focus mirrors the mobeds from Section 2, their mirrors catching sunlight. This fire's reach goes beyond the urn, shaping how people move, think, live. It's not all solemn. The fire sparks joy, too. Think festivals like Nowruz, the Persian New Year, where flames leap in celebration. You imagine bonfires outside, kids daring each other to jump over them, laughter mixing with the crackle. The temple's flame oversees it all, a quiet parent to the chaos. You chuckle, picturing a mobed, sighing at the mess, like a teacher herding hyperkids. Joke 2. Bet he wishes the fire could babysit. But the fire's social pull has challenges. As Zoroastrian numbers dwindled, thanks to those invasions from Section 7, keeping communities tight got harder. The flame's still a beacon, but fewer answer its call. You feel a pang, like the fire's lonely despite its glow. Yet, it endures, drawing the faithful to temples in India, Iran, even diaspora hubs. You think of the yasna from Section 4, how worshippers face the fire as one. That unity's still here, just smaller, fiercer. The temple feels alive now, not just with priests, but with ghosts of gatherings past. You see the fire as a thread, weaving people across time. You wonder if modern Zoroastrians text each other about temple meetups, like, "Yo, fire's lit. You coming?" Joke 3. Probably not, but the group chats gotta be divine. As you linger, the flame's role as a community heart hits home. It's not just Ahura Mazda's light from Section 6. It's a mirror for human connection, reflecting shared faith, shared fights, shared lives. You feel part of it, even as an outsider, warmed by more than just heat. The temple's warmth still holds you. The sacred flames glow, a quiet heartbeat echoing the community spirit from the last section. You're no longer in ancient Persia, though. Time's shifted, and you're standing in a modern fire temple, maybe in Mumbai or Yazd, where the same eternal flame burns. The air smells of sandalwood, but there's a new vibe. Fewer worshippers, yet the fire's as fierce as ever. You're here to see how this ancient spark lives on today, defying time, doubt, and dwindling numbers. The mobed's chants are softer now, but the flame story is loud. Modern Zoroastrian fire, temples are fewer, but their flames are unbroken. In places like India's Parsi communities or Iran's small Zoroastrian enclaves, these fires, some burning for over a millennium, are tended with the same care you saw in Section 2. A mainstream historical fact. The Iransha Atash Behram in Udvada, India, has burned since 721 CE. Its embers carried from Persia after Islamic conquests. It's a living relic, proof the fire's eternity isn't just talk. Here's a quirky tidbit. Some modern temples use electric fans to keep the fire's air clean, a high-tech twist on ancient purity rules. Picture a mobed flipping a switch, muttering about divine airflow. Historians still argue whether these modern tools dilute the tradition or just keep it practical. No ancient Avestan tech manual exists, so the debate's a slow simmer. You step into the temple, its stone walls newer but carved with the same winged figures from Section 1. The urn's bronze shines, and the fire dances, unbothered by the 21st century outside. A mobed, his white robe crisp, adds sandalwood with the same precision you saw centuries ago. The wood's sourced sustainably now. No camel caravans from Section 5, but the ritual's unchanged. You smirk, imagining a delivery guy dropping off holy kindling with a confused shrug. Joke 1. Bet he doesn't ask for a 5-star rating. The crowd's smaller than the ancient gatherings of Section 8. Zoroastrians number under 200,000 globally, a shadow of their old empires. Yet, the fire's pull is fierce. You see a family praying, their faces lit by the same glow that faced invaders in Section 7. A kid fidgets, clutching barsum twigs like the one in Section 4. The flame ties them to their ancestors, to Asha, to Ahura Mazda's light from Section 6. You feel a pang, fewer voices, but the same devotion. Modern challenges aren't swords, but assimilation and emigration. Many Parsis live in diaspora: London, Toronto, Sydney, far from temples. Some visit on holidays, others pray facing a candle, a mini fire for a scattered faith. You picture a Zoom call for Nowruz, everyone squinting at a shared flame. Joke 2. Hope the Wi-Fi holds for the divine connection. Still, temples like this one are anchors, drawing the faithful back, even if just for a day. The mobeds here face new pressures, fewer priests, tighter budgets. Training's still intense, but the job's less common. You watch one sweep ash, his focus as sharp as those in Section 5. He's not just tending a fire, he's guarding a legacy. You wonder if he ever wishes for a day off, maybe a Netflix binge. Joke 3. Probably not. Divine flames don't pause for popcorn. The temple's quiet, but the fire's alive. Its crackle, a bridge between past and present. You think of the invasions it survived, the communities it bound, the truth it carries. Today's Zoroastrians keep it burning, not out of habit, but love. You feel the weight of their choice, the stubborn glow of a faith that refuses to fade. This fire's not just old, it's now, eternal in a world that's moved on. You're still in the modern temple. The sacred flames glow softer now, its crackle a gentle hum against the quiet. The sandalwood scent lingers, tying you to the ancient fires of Section 1. The mobeds care, the invasions, the communities, all leading to this moment. You're not just looking at a fire anymore. You're seeing a legacy, a light that's burned through millennia, carrying truth, defiance, and hope. This is the final stop, where you reflect on what this eternal flame means, not just for Zoroastrians, but for you, standing here, feeling its warmth. The fire's legacy is its refusal to fade. It's more than a ritual from Section 4, or a divine symbol from Section 6. It's a testament to human stubbornness, to faith that outlasts empires and doubt. A mainstream historical fact, the Yazd Atash Behram, burning for over 1,500 years, is one of the oldest continuous flames, a record of resilience etched in fire. It's not just history, it's a challenge to keep what matters alive. Here's a quirky tidbit. Some Zoroastrians believe the fire's light carries blessings beyond the temple, like a spiritual Wi-Fi signal. Imagine your soul getting a divine ping just from standing nearby. Historians still argue whether this was a core belief or a poetic flourish to boost temple visits. No ancient blessing meters exist, so the idea glows in mystery. You lean closer, the fire's heat a soft nudge. It's seen everything. Priests with mirrors from Section 2, invaders from Section 7, weddings from Section 8, yet it's still here, unchanged, asking nothing but care. You think of the mobeds' wood stacks from Section 5, their endless shifts. That work wasn't for glory. It was for this moment, this light. You smirk, wondering if the fire ever gets bored of its own eternity. Joke 1. Probably not. It's got the best seat in the cosmos. The flame's meaning stretches beyond Zoroastrianism. It's a universal story, light against dark, order against chaos. The Asha from Section 3 that every culture chases. You feel it now, a tug to find your own spark, to keep it burning despite life's storms. The temple stone walls seem to nod, their carved figures watching like old friends. You chuckle, imagining them whispering, "Took you long enough to get it." Joke 2. Bet they've seen worse epiphanies. But the fire's legacy isn't just personal. It's a call to community, like the gatherings in Section 9, where modern Zoroastrians keep the flame alive despite shrinking numbers. Their choice to tend, to pray, to stay mirrors the defiance of those who hid embers from invaders. You feel a quiet awe, like you're part of something bigger, even as a guest. The fire doesn't care about your resume. It just asks you to see it, to let its light sink in. You step back, the urn's bronze catching one last glint. The mobed adds a final piece of sandalwood, the flames flaring like a goodbye wave. You think of the kid with the barsum, the caravans, the yasna's chants. This fire's carried them all, and now it's carrying you. You grin, wondering if you'll dream of flames tonight, maybe with a divine playlist. Joke 3. Hope it's not all Aveston chants on repeat. The temple fades, but the fire's glow stays with you, a warm whisper of eternity. You're ready to let it go, to carry its light in your own way, whatever that means. The fire's glow softens now, its edges blurring like a dream settling into your bones. You're no longer in the temple, but the warmth lingers, a gentle weight on your chest, like a blanket tucked just right. The crackle's gone, replaced by a quiet hum, the kind that lulls you when the world's too loud. You've walked through centuries, priests, invasions, prayers, all tied to that one stubborn flame. It's not just a story, it's a reminder that some things endure, no matter how heavy the dark gets. Let the fire's light rest in you tonight, a small spark to carry into sleep. The temple's walls, the mobed's chants, the sandalwood's scent, they're fading, folding into a calm hush. You're safe here, wrapped in the glow of something ancient, something true. Close your eyes, let your breath slow, and drift. The flame's still burning, somewhere, forever. You'll find it again when you need it. For now, rest.